started.
Yeah, I think they are starting here. Let me get that on the screen. There we go. All right, so this is round 2. Timer up.
There we go.
Yeah, so another green hybrid, but this time versus the
Imperial.
Imperial, yeah. Another, I'd say, like tougher matchup. It's the finals match that we saw this last weekend as well.
Yep. The decks we'll have to see are built the same as the ones that played in the finals too, because that could be kind of influential. There were some lists I see going a little bit lower on Rapidmon counts, some going higher, and that's one of the more impactful cards in this matchup for the green hybrid versus the Imperial. So I think that will make a big change. We do see the Labramon in raising though with the XVmon, so that's kind of a new EX2 card. Labramon does have the when attacking, you get to gain a memory if you have jamming, and they have 2 blue memory boosts on the board. However, that could get stunted pretty quickly from just a promotion of this Terriermon, and now all that memory gain for the moment is shut down. So until the Imperial player finds a tamer, they could be a little bit memory choked.
Yeah, and that's like just such the power of green hybrid. You have Terriermon in archetype already, and with one of like the best rookies that you want to play in green always to be part of that archetype, it's very good.
Yeah. Double Bokomon is, I mean, we see 2 blue memory boosts on one side and double Bokomon on the other side. They're similar in a way where they're going to be able to gain you a little bit extra memory. I don't really think Izzy Mimi is your main target to be digivolving on top of, but it's still, I mean, being able to gain value off of the Bokomons when you do have them on the board is fairly important, because whenever they do go away, you aren't going to gain that value. And so you could go on top of the Izzy Mimi, go up to 3 memory after both the Bokomons. You'll be able to get some cycle going, and this is just going to allow you to essentially just get through your deck a little bit faster, because they have been playing on just rookies so far, and that's not really how Green Hybrid wants to play.
Exactly, and so you do give them to 3, which is a big number for this deck. So going down to 2 there, and just getting to rest the Vmon, yeah, because you digivolved on top of a hybrid itself. It doesn't have to be that, so that's very good.
Yep, the first one doesn't get to suspend, but the second one will hit that requirement. You have to pay the extra memory, but like I said, when you gain all this extra free memory from the Bokomons, you do get that extra memory to kind of extend your plays a little bit more. So going another one on top is no big deal. We're just going to go for Rhino as well, going down to 1. You can swing up into this Vmon right now and then activate the effect. Even if you don't, you still have something very big on the board to swing over this Vmon, and your opponent's not going to be able to swing over it itself. 8K is pretty big. Imperial itself is 8K, so to actually get rid of this, you're going to have to use something like an option card or go up into one of your megas.
Yeah, and so going into that ancient, getting the just the trash, no piercing, as you said, but hitting that XVmon. So and again, having that Terriermon out means that you don't have the memory to go into your plays either, and just kind of you're in a rough spot. So, but okay, that will help fix it.
Okay, that is actually very big. Here's the problem though, is there is 5 Digimon. Well, once we promote, of course, the Terriermon, there's 5 on the opposing end. You have 4 security, so you have clean hit. In Imperialdramon, a lot of the times the things that you're looking to hit to save you are things like Hammer Spark or Ice Wall, but that's not going to help you when there's 2 Terriermons on the board. So now we're looking more so at something like Megadeth. Hits the Davis Ken, so if you come back to the turn, it's going to be fairly impactful. Vmon, so Bokomon is going to go down there and trade. Doesn't matter. Swing another one. It's really going to come down to, is there a Megadeth in security or not? Last check with the Terriermon, and
sir.
It is not, so that Terriermon just goes in. So as much as Jesse did look like he was going to be ahead there very early, being able to get that XVmon with the Labramon and those 2 blue memory boosts, the Terriermons just shut it down completely. I mean, that's one of the very strong things about memory blockers. They are something that comes in and out of the meta a bit. They are a little bit lower in popularity right now, as I would say, compared to maybe something like BT7, where there were 4 ofs in a lot of decks. But right now they're a little bit lower on count, but they're so incredibly impactful, as we saw there. The Terriermon's ability just to be on the board essentially almost single-handedly won that game there, just because when your opponent needs to be at 3 memory because they want to play their Stingmon and do that, and you're able to just actively negate that, it is going to really just hinder them, and we saw that in full effect.
Yeah, 100%. And this is just something that I was kind of expecting for the green hybrid from round one, where you had 5 bodies on board and they had 4 security, right? Like you're kind of like just that pressure is super good, especially in something where Beetlestar that once you get rid of that security, it's not coming back. There's not a lot of defense in those lists, so every poke you do does do lasting damage throughout the game. So but
Right.
we'll have to see how this next game goes. If the Tamer was the first security check, actually no, never mind, because it trashes right from the ancient.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so not even a chance to get like an easy lucky security to a Tamer to maybe stabilize with that ancient Beetlemon effect.
Yeah. I mean, I think going into the next games, one thing that could change a lot is the fact that game one, the Imperial player did go first,
Yep.
which kind of put them on the back end as far as memory management,
Mm-hmm.
especially when they started the game with the blue memory boost coming out. Because then the thing about blue memory boost compared to something like Hammer Spark is it is a bit more telegraphed. So we're gonna do so when you play it and you have the memory blocker in your hand, it's gonna be more impactful because you know you're definitely getting value off of it.
Yeah. It's again, yeah. As he started the match and said like that Terramon's going to be quite the menace, and it 100% won. I think that definitely gave him enough of an extension to just not have a lot of counterplay from the Imperialdramon player.
Yeah, if we were able to see that Davis one turn sooner from the Imperialdramon player, it probably could have shifted. I think one good turn with that XVmon being able to go up into a Pyildramon, being able to get bottom deck effects, maybe do something like hidden potential discovered. That would have been more helpful, but just wasn't there. The aggression was too much. Had to play very defensively because you can't really promote your XVmon versus a deck that's going to suspend your Digimon very easily because then you lose your XVmon. You're in a much tougher spot. But now, if you're able to just get something out pretty early in this next game, it could be a big shift in how the game is actually played. Just because Imperial can get a lot more aggressive a lot faster. However, it needs more setup because it needs that 3 memory, as to where with JP, you can get up into your ancient for essentially 2 memory.
Yeah, so we did this, and so we see that Pokemon is able to get a JP and a Rhino. There's the Terriermon that makes the JP 1 cost less this next turn, and you can kind of go from there. But there's already the XV in Raising as well, and I don't think even like if you could hardcast a rookie, you would. Oh, but this is fine. This is
Okay,
a fine
going
play.
with the Davis, I think the Davis Ken is fine. It's a more solid way of memory gain. If we were seeing this come out instead of one of the blue memory boosts last game, I think they would have been able to get to that 3 to really, pop off. But without it, it wasn't quite the same. So now, when we're going to be having that come out, your opponent has to put you at 1
Yeah.
because if they put you at 2, you're going to go to that 3, and then you can promote, go for Stingmon, go for all that stuff. So now it's going to make it much more awkward for the green player than it was last game, because the last game they were able to just essentially play whatever and stick them at whatever memory count that they wanted.
Yep. So there's the Kabuterimon, the tech, the the thing that holds this deck together. If we're talking to
The
Jesse,
blocker.
yeah. And so yeah, going to 1, deciding not to digivolve on top of that JP. You did just play it, but there could be some memory gain. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, I was to say you probably want to digivolve on top of this here just to gain that memory that you're going to get, because when you're at 0, at that point you're probably giving your opponent a pretty good amount of memory.
Yeah.
3 potentially with something like a rookie. Going up to 1, if you play something for like 3, let's say, you'd be able to put them at 2 now, which is a big difference. But now you have the ability to, which we might actually see right here, which I was going to say, you can digivolve for 1 on top of here, and then you could also digivolve for 1 into a Rhino, and then put your opponent at 1. You have the Rhino developed, and the best that they can do is go to 2. However, they don't have
Terrier out.
Claremont on, so Hammer Spark
Yeah.
could be live. Hammer Spark could get you there. Hammer Spark is going to be a little bit rough because you can get the Stingmon out. You can DNA into Pyildramon. You can bottom deck. Will most likely be the blocker, just because there's no Tamers out right now. But then you still have to find a way to go up and get rid of this Rhino. So you'd probably want to pair it with something like the Imperialdramon Fighter mode. Ooh, but actually it's just a Vmon starter deck 9 to pass turn. Can grab another starter deck 9 Vmon or grab the Imperialdramon. So what with the Imperial, I don't know what they were searching for off of that. They could be searching for Stingmon if they don't have it, but not promoting there or really being able to develop is going to be rough, because now your opponent's kind of developing a lot more. getting rid of this Vmon isn't going to be the hardest task. And since they aren't threatening a lot with the on the Imperial side, the green hybrid player could very easily just pass turn by playing a tamer and
Mm-hmm.
have a more impactful turn next turn and have a less impactful turn this turn, because you don't necessarily need to swing in right now unless you're swinging into something like the Vmon, because if you swing in, you could hit something like Megadeth, you could hit Davis or something like that. But we are going to go up into the Shiva. So Shiva's out now. That is actually fairly impactful because
Ooh.
of the fact that
Hammer
they
Spark
can't.
there too, though.
Or actually, no, I'm silly. They have unsuspended
Yeah,
Digimon,
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
the Hammer Spark would still be live. But now that's actually very big because the Hammer Spark hit puts them up to 3. Davis can play them up to 4. So now they have plenty of memory to be able to do whatever they need. You can get a lot of different combinations here. I would say something probably like the Lydramon would be the most optimal, just because it would be able to then suspend the blocker Kabuterimon.
Yep.
So then you could bottom deck the Bokomon and then swing over the Kabuterimon.
Mm-hmm.
But even just getting any sort of green Digimon here is going to be correct. They are going to just hard play the Stingmon instead of Digivolving over it. So they don't need the draw, but this also allows you to have a different target for hidden potential discovered
Mm-hmm.
other than just your own Digimon. So you could do something like swing both the checks with the Imperialdramon with its swing unsuspend. Then you could use hidden potential discovered to tap the Vmon, Digivolve the Pyildramon, and then you would be able to tap Davis Ken to unsuspend. So you'd be able to get pretty much, quote, maximum checks. But we're going to go for the second check here, hitting 2 Rapid Mons back to back. So I was saying Rapid Mon's one of the more impactful cards in the matchup, and 2 of them are gone. Most decks are playing anywhere from 3 to 4, so we don't know however the remaining are left, but it is one of those things where when you hit 2 of any of your most impactful cards in security, it really doesn't matter what it is or how many of it you play, it's going to hurt.
Yeah, and it just like shows how much power you get for not like having that Terramon out. You gained a memory from Hammer Spark. You gained memory from the Labramon swing. There's the hidden potential discovered.
There's the
like
HPD. So
yep,
that's what I was saying. You can HPD up into here. We did see the Dragon mode hit. So you're going to be able to unsuspend with the Davis Ken. This allows you to play out the Stingmon and most likely the XVmon if you have another Mega to go or another Ultimate to DNA Digivolve into. But most importantly, you're unsuspending your Dragon mode and you're at 2 memory. So if you do have Fighter mode, you would be able to go into Fighter mode and much more easily be able to get rid of this Shivamon.
Yeah, and
Still think about what the second card we want to get off of this is. You can choose to get the XVmon to DNA Digivolve up. However, you can also grab the Rookie if you want to Digivolve on top of it and get some other effect, like maybe the Ragemon. I don't know if that's going to be as impactful just because you already have a Rookie on the board, but I think you grab the XVmon out here.
The Rookie in there is a Labramon too, so you can't Ragemon on top of it either. So
correct.
Yeah, but getting that memory off. Oh, there's that Terramon would have done
that's
so
a
much
swing.
earlier.
That's I mean, we're going for big swings here. We're going for double spark. Okay. So not getting rid of the Pokemon is big because you can still spark now.
But I mean, just
going up to 4 and just Mega Death and get rid of the Shivamon. Put them at 1. You're left with just a Bokomon and no Tamer. And we're going for a scoop. Yep. I think that's a good scoop. I mean, that's kind of like a weird thing to say, but in the pace of a up to 9 round tournament, if you don't got it, just go to the next game.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're playing, a lot of people may tend to want to play unlosable or unwinnable situations just to see if there's any out or get the practice. But when you have a really long tournament going on, the thing is you kind of need to preserve some sort of mental energy. So at that point, I mean, when you have 1 memory on the board or you have 1 memory, you didn't have a Rookie in Raising, and you don't have a Tamer to do anything with your Bokomon. Your opponent has all kinds of development on the board now. They still have the suspended Rookie. They have 2 champions that could be DNA Digivolved, and they have the Dragon mode suspended, which at any point could turn into the Fighter mode, or it could just continue to keep getting checks at 12K. Yeah. And so it was a behind spot, but I do like that. It's something that I feel like is becoming rarer and rarer. But one thing when you're playing in a tournament, you do have to consider your mental energy over the course of the day.
Yeah, and like a joke is like, a bad player knows when they've won, but a good player knows when they've lost. They want to go to that second game.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, if there's a chance, you can always play it out. But if we're going to look at it, obviously we don't know what was in their hand. Neither player really knows either player's full deck, so you don't know exactly what could come out, maybe any sort of trump card. But if it's a standard build, then you're going to know that Green Hybrid doesn't have huge high impact cards like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe something like an ultimate flare or something that some other colors might have. Green doesn't really have that. Their big haymaker play is the ancient, and that is a little more telegraphed and standard, so it's not going to be anything surprising. And ancient's not going to help you there. So let's
Yeah.
just go on to the next. It looks like we did have a little bit of egg sleeve malfunction, so we had it re-sleeve right there. Um,
Scratch that phrase off your phrase book for the day if you're expecting that one to egg sleeve malfunction.
egg sleeve malfunction.
Yeah, like a wardrobe malfunction. Like, yeah, but they've got time. Clearly, they've got 30 minutes for game 3.
Game
Whereas,
3, yeah. And
uh,
that's the thing about this matchup is it, they're fast decks. They're usually going to play pretty quickly into each other. They both are playing game plans where my game plan is more so to out aggress you. So when two decks are trying to out aggress each other, there do come some defensive counterplay turns, but for the most part, they're going to be very high paced. And games like that are usually high paced usually end up being high paced in play as well as like as far as choosing what you want to play, and that can tend to make these matches go very quickly. I mean, 30 minutes left with one game remaining. That's less than 10 minutes per the first two games, and that's unheard of for some other decks.
yeah, round 1. I think game 1 just finished at about this time in time. So they are. Yeah, I could take 30 minutes to. This match could be done in 30 minutes if we start over again. So
Yeah,
I would not be worried. I'm more
I mean,
worried
with
for
the 50
myself
minute
having to find
50-minute
another
start,
match.
we might be doing this in under 30. But if this was a 2-0, this could have been a pretty quick. And that's just these aggressive decks. That's just how they play. And that's something that some people can enjoy and some people not so much. Davis gonna hit the Stingmon, whiffing on the other two. Davis can and Hammerspark going to the bottom, but Stingmon is a pretty crucial card to hit. It is one of the ones that I feel like is sometimes harder to search for.
Yeah.
At least it feels like. So having that in hand is nice. It's also the card that complements the most because now you could have either the Elyldramon or you could have the EX2, and the Stingmon's going to be able to complement that, especially now that you have the Davis out. We're not going to have to worry about getting choked or Terriermon as much because now you're always going to essentially be having that 3 memory for the Stingmon to be played to pair up with your champion.
Yeah, I like Davis turn 1 against Imperialdramon, or if it's like your first security check, I feel like I lose like almost every time. It is such a good starter.
Yeah, and we see Davis here hitting. I didn't see exactly what the hybrid was right there, but we did get the Izzy Mimi here, which is just going to get played out. This card is definitely annoying versus Imperial because there's are times where you want to end your turn, suspended. But we see the XV. So the XV in raising is very big here because we saw the Stingmon added to hand here. So now it's a question of what's the ultimate? Where's the ultimate? Do you have it? Which one is it? There's Imperials tend to play up to 3 different, ultimates. There's the Imperialdramon as well as the Chimera and the Dino Bee. All of them are going to be having different dynamics on how they're going to affect the game. So it's really going to be big. Oh, we're just digivolving in raising into the Dino Bee with there being the Stingmon in hand. So that is interesting. I think this a lot of the times is probably telegraphing some sort of fighter mode play.
Yeah, I could see
only
fighter mode.
I only say that because of the fact that we know that Stingmon's in hand for sure. So this could have been DNA digivolved into. But the main thing about Dino Beamon, which makes it a very strong card, is it's inheritable. So if you put fighter mode on top of this, it's going to gain your turn, gain +1k DP for each color that it has, meaning that fighter mode is going to be 15k, meaning that it can no longer trade with the Ancient Beetlemon. And being able to swing over the Ancient Beetlemon, whether that be on board or be in security, is going to obviously be very good because you'd rather survive the check than you would prefer to trade into your opponent's Digimon. That never feels the greatest.
Yeah, I don't think there's a really straightforward way for Green Hybrid to get rid of a fighter mode. I think the best way is you have to also be running a Kowloomon. Now, Rapidmon could also help you get there too. So that is something to consider. But yeah, if you just like swing, like if you swing, rest over something, swing again, they're gonna have a hard time just getting over that guy without any extra sauce.
Yeah, this next turn I think is going to be very interesting for me personally because of just the Dino Beamon play and raising was very interesting. It makes me question what could be in Jesse's hand that is the turn passer.
Mm-hmm. So adding the Rhino to hand, sending some
And
Terriermons to the bottom.
that is very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, sending Terrier to the bottom, not as good. Getting Rhino to hand, very good.
Very good.
You definitely want that Rhino in hand, especially when you have the champion on board. That one was built up from a rookie, though, right? I can't. The
I believe
webcam
that
for
was
me is a
yeah,
little
yeah.
bit
He's
blurry.
been
Yeah, so
yeah.
you can't digivolve on top of it for one, but that's not as big of a deal. You just kind of want to be
Oh man,
having the ability to get up into your Rhino.
he's just got a good old dragon. This is the first time I've
I've
seen
never seen
in
this.
raising
I've never
ever,
seen this.
not
I've
once.
never seen this.
Yeah, that
This
is
is
absurd.
this is what we in the business call kooky.
Yeah. Yeah, because I
This
mean,
is a whole different line of play that I wouldn't have expected.
no, not me. So swinging into it's just like I guess I swing. I don't I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, what do you, I don't even know.
Yeah,
You know, like I'm. Ooh,
that is nice.
that's pretty big. Davis plus blue memory boost equaling 5 does mean a lot. Not as much now because we have the drag miles to say. If you had that before, that could mean you could go Dino Beamon straight up into the fighter mode. But now we have Dragon mode, which means it's going to digivolve for just 2 into the fighter mode. But you have a pretty good chance to take back board here. You have you have the Dragon mode on board, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
And that's such
I
a
think we're going to
weird
see probably a
stack.
fighter mode. And if you go fighter mode, what do you bounce back? Do you give them a hybrid or do you give them the Bokomon?
Probably the Boko, and then you swing over the dude, and then I guess restand. I would probably, and I have to, I want to pop that blue memory boost too because I know Turimon's just hanging out there
There
chilling.
it is. There it is. So let's see the decision here. What do we want to pick? Thinking, I mean, either way, it's kind of a rough choice. The hybrid is a hard one to give back because then they guaranteed to have the hybrid, which isn't the most threatening thing at the moment. But then you give them back the Boko. They're going to go to 3 memory no matter what with the Mimi. So that means they can play the Boko, get the effect off of it. There's no JP, which is big because let's say they go to 3 with Mimi. To be able to go a hybrid, play the Boko and go a hybrid and then get up into Ancient, they would have to pop their green memory boost. But we are going with the hybrid. Has been the choice. So
Yeah.
Bokomon is most likely going to get swung over. Swing unsuspend. You get some draws from your inheritable from the Imperial. I don't think that you want to. We are going to swing again. This is going to be playing into the Izzy Mimi a little bit, but we are swinging at 15K, so there's nothing in here to be scared of.
Yeah, not a thing.
Yep.
Yeah, and
yep.
Yeah, again,
Shivamon is not gonna do it.
No. But I think it does. I'd have to do some quick math, but there is some worry next turn that Terriermon just turns into a Rapidmon. You go up your line, and then you can swing over it.
Right.
Especially because
so
they're
popping the blue memory boost here, which I do like because
all right.
Okay, well that makes Rapidmon terrible now.
Because
maybe not necessarily terrible, but I mean you go up into your Rapidmon for 3, right?
Yeah.
And then you suspend the Leomon, and then when that dies or gets deleted, the Imperial player gets to draw 2 or gain 2 and draw 1. So gaining 2 memory right there is going to make Rapidmon a turn. Well, not necessarily a turn passer because of the Izumimi, but you're going to go to 0. So it is a nice way to slow it down. I think if you're the green hybrid player, though, you're kind of wanting to keep the Terriermon.
Like, yeah, it's a
try to go for a metal maybe type of play where you can suspend the Leomon, swing over it. Don't allow them to get that memory gain.
Oh, there's the
Kalamon for 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so no Rapidmon inherently. Rapidmon would kind of need to be the. I guess you can rest the Leomon though. Yeah. It's the
it's a Beetle. Okay, Rapidmon going to the bottom. They did hit JP and Metal.
Yeah.
So they can. Metal is now in hand. Can for free. Did you picked up their Tamer?
You grabbed one too many Tamers.
They picked up their Tamer.
Let me see if I can miss it. There's a judge.
Okay. Yeah, the Mimi, no more Mimi. Okay, the Leomon's suspended now. Terriermon's still up, so no memory gain. But I still feel like the fighter mode is probably relatively safe. We'll have to see what happens here. We're gonna go up with the Rhino. You can go into Ancient and trade, but again, that does not feel good at all. Ooh, going with just a. Oh no, okay, they fixed the
Yeah,
Mimi.
they fixed the board. Okay, yeah, we're good. Yeah, because he did
There we
the
go.
top two, and then he just scooped
Yeah.
it as part of the other two.
Yeah, Mimi was entered the scoop.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
Callow is have the plus 3K, so Ancient doesn't trade. Ancient would go over.
yeah, because it
So I
would
would
be
assume if
16
you're
to
doing
15,
it, you're
right?
doing it.
16 to 15.
16 to 15. All right, is Dino? I think Dinobeamon's your turn, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, then, let's see if I have that card. I have Pale. I have Pale in my bag of tricks, but let's see if I.
Dinobeamons do be coming around. So Dinobeamon is a your turn effect.
Okay.
So it is just 13K on the opponent's turn.
Gotcha.
So it would be just be 16. And not that it does matter as far as 16 to 15 to 16 to 13, but for technicalities.
Yeah. Green Memboos going back up to 3. So you can swing and keep it your turn. Or just go JP. That's also fine.
Okay. There it is.
Yeah.
So that's going to swing over, and that's going to trash.
Purity, and it doesn't have piercing, right?
No.
Yeah, no piercing. Okay. Having to rebuild the board's a little tough, but there are some ways to do. Oh, with Terriermon out, you don't even get the memory gain from the Leomon dying.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking they might have. I was thinking they were going to swing into it, but they ended up just going for the full stack. Ooh, Stingmon coming out, so we can DNA Digivolve this.
Yeah, we sure can.
We sure can. So that's going to get rid of, I would assume, the Terriermon. Yeah. Let's get that out of here about as quick as possible. Do hit a rookie in the back. Still going to have to find a way to get rid of the Rhino or the Ancient. You can't swing over the Kalu and unsuspend.
Yeah.
That's going to get you a draw off the Stingmon, but you're going to need Megadeth, I think, is the only way to get rid of this.
Megadeth, or I mean, you can just do like an Ancient, and then it you get a bunch of bodies, so that's like something.
Yeah, you could if they had something like, this is where things like Chimeramon usually come in pretty strong, because then you could lower the DP of the Mega and then bounce it back with like fighter mode. But without that, I think it's either you just build something big or you make and
Megadeth,
there it is. Yeah. So Megadeth gonna put them to 5. They were gonna go to 3 anyway, so you're giving them 2 extra memory, which is a bit scary, but I think this is fine. You're putting your opponent in a position to where they have to build back up. You're at 8K, so they're not going to be suspending you with just something like Metal Kabuterimon, and they're not going to be able to go for game this turn. Plus, you have a rookie in the back, so depending on how things go, they could be in a look at a good spot, because let's say the Imperialdramon does survive and no blockers come out, then there's 3 swings on board to the 3 security checks, and then maybe a hybrid could get in there, but that doesn't play into something like maybe going Hammer Spark into Dragon mode to play out the sources and DNA Digivolve up. That can add some extra swings up into it as well. So this is a turn where the green hybrid player both has the opportunity to get really aggressive, but if they don't have it, then they're going to have to play very defensive.
Yep, so Digivolving for 1 there. Looking top 5 for more JPs and hybrids. There's at least a JP. And 2 Terriermons to bomb deck. You do not want to see that.
There goes Terras and a Samadhi.
Yeah.
Samadhi going to the bottom is pretty big as well, because that's the card to be suspending this Imperialdramon that's on the board.
Especially with the Mimi, like with the potential to like tap it to get another rookie pushed up. Not having that rookie to push up in the first place is kind of rough.
Right. Yep. Yeah, not having the rookie there is definitely going to slow you down. That's the big thing about the Imperial player having a rookie, is that that can turn into a lot of very strong things because let's say you stay at a champion level, that could represent Elijahmon, which could suspend it
Mm-hmm.
and then get cleared very easily by the Imperialdramon. If you don't have a rookie in raising go at the end of this turn, then the Imperial player has a pretty good opportunity just to kind of clean up on board and just make it so, okay, if you just have a tamer out, then you're not going to be able to go directly for game. That gives you an extra turn or two to set up. And that's like that's the big thing about observing your opponent's board is if you know they don't have a rookie, that's going to represent a lot less potential of either digivolving up into something like Rapidmon or just
Mm-hmm.
getting swings in.
Yeah,
Looks
so
like we're building up
Cherry
Cherrymon.
for 2. Okay.
Okay, so Cherry isn't
It's a
big enough
7K. Yeah, 7 to 8 right
to
now.
get rid of the Pile, but it is capable of stopping at least a swing, which as of right now could be very big if you are going for a if your opponent has a hybrid or you're playing around your opponent having a hybrid. This
Mm-hmm.
is going to be the correct play.
Yeah,
So
unless they
Jesse's going to
have
be at
a bunch of
3.
Hammer
So what?
Sparks, it's going to be tough to get up
Right,
into another level 5. Yeah, so
right.
oh, well, there's one.
Okay, so there's a spark to 4. That still doesn't necessarily represent another. It does represent the dragon mode, so we are going to be able to play out the Leomon and the Stingmon here. Keeping the Leomon out might be in their best interest,
Mm-hmm.
depending on what we want to do here. But having the blocker out and no Terriermon is pretty big. Nope, that's a
Oh,
fighter mode.
that's a
So
fighter
you're
mode.
going to go to 3 with Mimi, and Cherrymon's going back to the hand. So now with that was very, very, very momentum shifting.
Mm-hmm.
Almost to, I'm not going to call anything too early, but that was almost momentum shifting to a very losing position
Mm-hmm.
for the green hybrid because getting the Imperial on the board to stick is going to be very big because that's going to be able to, clear off a lot of different Digimon. But you also got the Leomon back on the board,
Yeah.
which right now is a blocker and has on deletion, gain 2 memory, draw a card. So if you swing and you block, you're going to be able to, get a little extra memory. It's going to make it so your opponent can't go for game from the blocker. And if they try to, they're going to get punished with memory game.
Yeah, because you have that you get another swing. Oh, for another one to
Ooh, another one. So we're going to be suspending
probably the Leo.
most likely
Yeah.
the Leo. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you could suspend the Vmon if you wanted to, but Vmon's not a scary target right here. There's already 2 champions on the board, so you're not too worried about them digivolving into another champion. But we are going to go up into Rhino here. So Rhino can swing into what would most likely, I would assume, be the Stingmon if it is going to go for the Trash and Pierce. So you'd be able to go Digivolve for 3 here, put your opponent at 3, Trash and Pierce. So your opponent would be at 0 security. But then all you have on the board is a suspended metal. And if your opponent is able to just, go for game, then there's not much that you can do about it. You're only going to probably be able to get rid of 1 Digimon on the board right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes it so if your opponent has any champion, like let's say a green champion of Stingmon or maybe the Elijahmon, then that Leomon sticking on the board also represents another DNA Digivolve. But I think the Leomon just representing the blocker and memory gain is pretty big right here because they could swing over the Leomon.
How much memory or how much life does Jason have right now? 3?
3 to 2.
3 to 2. So with that fighter mode, that has 2 swings in it inherently too, right? So you have lethal on board if you only get rid of 1, assuming nothing, nasty in security, which green hybrids traditionally do not have any nasty security cards. So you have to either get rid of the fighter mode or 2 Digimon from here to have a shot at really anything, because there are 4 swings represented on board right now.
Yeah, usually the only card in security that green usually has to, be big impact things are the right now most decks are chosen to play the Samadhi Santi, and we saw one of those go to the bottom this deck. So obviously
4.
we don't. There's 4. Okay.
The dice said 5. It looked like 3, but there's 4. All right, so that's
okay. So
wildly
everything
different.
was wrong. The game still can be won here.
Mm-hmm. Good old hybrid for game, but
good old hybrid for game. I mean, you can
on either side.
You can swing in the Leomon. This is what I would do as well. You get to swing. The blocker no longer matters. You're looking to gain memory and draw a card. So we're going to 5 as well as drawing a card. So that is pretty big. 5 memory allows you to do things like Digivolve into XVmon, which we see here. And this allows you to then play Stingmon and then be able to DNA Digivolve up. So we're going to swing Demi Vmon does get that draw. We're going to see a Rapidmon, so no Smati Santi coming in quite yet. I think because of playing around the Smati Santi, you'd probably want to swing with the fighter mode here first, so that way you don't get suspended later. But now we're just going to go ahead and go into the pile. We're going to go ahead and swing checks. Another thing here that you usually want to do is, because both of these swing and unsuspend, to play around suspension effects, you usually want to alternate which ones will swing and unsuspend, so you can not lose as much value. So right now they do swing with the Imperialdramon, which plays into the Samadi Santi.
Yeah.
It doesn't get hit, but if they did swing with the fighter mode right there, if they did hit Samadi Santi, it would have been punished. But if they swung with the Imperial mode or the fighter mode, then no matter what, they were going to have game right there. So that is just one of those things where it's small details like that could really change the outcome of the game. We saw there with that Samadi could have really changed something if that was that last check.
Yeah. So super close to, obviously both were down to 0 security on game 3. And I think, it really could have been played for anyone gets it. So that was that game. Let's see if we can jump into another one real quick. We're going to be silent for just a second while we find it. And because there's about 12 minutes left of the round. So